What is up, YouTube? It's Lions Fan Express coming at you with that man-to-man press. In today's video, since it's Monday, I'm going to be doing another mock draft for the Detroit Lions. Now, if you guys didn't know, rules are pretty simple. I can trade up or trade down if I want to. I'm not going to go crazy with it because, I want to make it as realistic as possible for the Detroit Lions. However, Brad Holmes does have a tendency to be a little bit aggressive and trade up. So it's definitely a possibility, but this isn't necessarily what the Lions are going to do. This is just what I feel like, I would do if I was the GM. So I'm making the picks, and yeah, this is just fun. I think this is like my 6th or 7th mock draft. I don't know. It doesn't feel like enough. We have only a couple weeks left until the NFL draft when all these questions are going to be resolved. But for now, we're going to still dive into who the Lions might take in this year's draft. So starting off, I'm actually going to do something that I haven't done in any of my mock drafts so far. I'm actually going to try to propose a trade and see if I can trade up to get a blue chip player. Because, I don't think when it comes to some of the players that are going to be at 6, I'd rather have maybe some of the players that are going to go earlier than that and to add to this team. So I'm particularly looking at the Arizona Cardinals, and I'm going to see if I can give up a little bit of capital, hopefully not too much. So I'm going to give a 6 overall pick, which is our first, pick 48, which is our second, and next year's second for their third. See if I can trade up to get a blue chip player. Now this is a little bit of draft capital to give up. I'm not necessarily recommending this, but it's worth a try to see if this will be accepted or not. And let's see, confirm. And it was accepted. Okay, so we'll go back, and then now we'll start the draft. And who knows, maybe one of the better defenders falls to us at 3, or maybe even a quarterback. Who knows? We're just gonna see what happens. So, with that being said, we have Will Anderson Jr. at pick number 3, and we also have Bryce Young, who fell. Looks like, if we take a look, Anthony Richardson went number 1, which a little surprising, but wouldn't be shocked because I don't know. I just feel like teams would take a chance on him. C.J. Stroud went to the Texans, and now for the Lions, here's the question mark: do we go with the edge rusher from Alabama, or do we go Bryce Young from Alabama, his teammate? So really, you can't go wrong with this pick. It's 2 Alabama players, right? But no, if I really had, honestly, my plan was to go with Will Anderson because he's just a dog. I didn't expect Bryce Young to fall. I thought Anthony, because if it would have been Anthony Richardson here, I definitely would take Will Anderson. I'm not, if it's not C.J. Stroud or Bryce Young, I'm not talking about taking him in the top 10 as a quarterback. So for me, for Bryce Young to be there, this is no indictment at all on Jared Goff, but to have a guy like that and to put him in as a potential backup would be really enticing for sure. So I think I'm going to pull the trigger and take, it's tough. You know what? I can't do it. I'm going to go Will Anderson. I'm going to pick the better player that can help us now, and hopefully we can get a quarterback to sit behind Goff and really give us a good, viable option as a backup. So I'm going to go Will Anderson. I know that took a little bit of deciding, but definitely an interesting, kind of a predicament to be in for the Lions. So we still have pick number 18, and we have a couple trades. So it looks like the Chargers are looking to try to trade up a couple spots, trying to give us a 6 for next year. I'm going to reject that. Now it looks like the Raiders are trying to trade us a 2nd and a 3rd, along with a 2nd next year for a 1st round pick. I'm not doing it. I'm going to reject that one as well. And then the Saints are trying to move up from 29 to 18 and just only giving up a 71st overall pick, which should be a 3rd. I'm not doing that either. You guys got to give me better offers than that. Now, we went defense with Will Anderson. Okay, so we got a stud to pair up along with Aiden Hutchinson. Now, if we look at offense, honestly, if I'm really looking at right here, I'm potentially looking at, if he's still there. Okay, so Bijan Robinson is not there. Um, I would possibly look at tackle and guard. So Darnell Wright is a player that I actually really like. Osiris Torrance is another player that I feel like would give us good value. So that's an option as well. Defensively, though, if we were to look at possibly adding someone on defense, if we look at corners, Cam Smith is there. Keely Ringo, I'm not even gonna consider taking him. Sorry, just not a Ringo fan. Deonte Banks, haven't really watched a lot of film on him yet, but he's been climbing up draft boards since the draft. You know, cornerback's one of those positions where it's still a need in my opinion, but I think we could kind of get away with maybe possibly not going that route. And actually, I didn't know that Kalijah Kancey was still there at 18. Now, he's ranked a little bit lower on this draft site than I would have him ranked. Unless there's someone else. I do like BJ Ojulari. I really like him. Linebacker, safety, Brian Branch is actually, that's tough. I really like Brian Branch, but I think I'm going to have to pass up, and I'm going to have to go with the best defensive tackle left, in my opinion, and I think that's Kalijah Kancey. So I'm going to pick Kalijah Kancey. And now instead of having 2 second-round picks, we traded up, so we're going to only have 1. So we really have to make this count, unless we want to trade back and do a little bit of trades to kind of gain some more capital. But the Colts, I'm going to reject that offer. That's not a great offer in my opinion. Now, so let's see who they have at quarterback, because Hendon Hooker is there. I don't think he's going to last to the 3rd round, in my opinion. So that's definitely a player that I would definitely consider taking. Zach Charbonnet is really good. I like him. Receiver, not really huge on taking a receiver this early. I feel like that's not necessarily a need, or there's not a lot of impact players at that value. Tight end, again, kind of feel the same way. Tackle and guard, Steve Avila. I actually really like Steve Avila. Man, if we could get him with the 3rd round pick, I know he's not going to last that long, but that would be amazing. So let's take a look at edge and see who they have. They got some good edge rushers. I feel like if we really want to take an edge, we could probably take one in the later because there's some good depth. Linebacker is actually really a spot that I feel like could be targeted right here. So, yeah, Drew Sanders, who I'm really high on. Not really high on Noah Sewell. Owen Papio, sorry if I botched his name. Ivan Pace, Daniel Henley, Henry Toto, DeMarvin Overshawn. Really tough. I don't know if I could pass up Sanders like that though. Because Drew Sanders he's a dog. I really like him as a linebacker. So if it's, let's see. You know, I think I'm actually gonna do that. All right, let's go Drew Sanders, and then we will go into the 3rd round and see who is left. So they're trying to trade us their 7th overall pick and a 4th round pick for next year. I'm going to reject that as well. All right, let's see. So a quarterback. Okay, so Hendon Hooker did not fall to the 3rd round. It's obviously to be expected. Not a huge fan of Tanner McKee, but I do like Jaren Hall and Clayton Tune, but maybe a little bit in the later rounds. Running back, Zach Evans is actually a really good player in my opinion. I actually have him as in one of my top running backs in this draft. This would actually be a good spot if you wanted to take a receiver. Definitely a spot to do that. I think that you really got to just go based off of just not necessarily need, but really more of like impact on that player. So yeah, safety. Gonna go. Let's look at the guards. Let's look at the tackles. You know, I really like Xavier Hutchinson, so I'm gonna take a. Let's see, what pick are we at right now? All right, you know what? Yeah, I'm just going to take a swing at Xavier Hutchinson. Really like him. Kind of reminds me a little bit of, just a possession catch receiver that can really just go up and make plays, basically. You just watch him. He goes up and he gets those balls, 50-50 balls. So now we're in the 5th round. I mean, we could, honestly, at this point, we could trade back just a couple spots to gain some extra capital. Honestly, I don't see why not. We're just trading back a couple spots, so we're going to accept that. And looking at who we have on the board, so basically, let's see, running back, we got some players here, receiver, tight end. I actually really like Payne Durham. I think he's a good player. Guard, Andrew Voorhees. I mean, to me, he did tear his ACL, so that's a really tough. And you wouldn't probably necessarily need him to play right away, but you probably want to go a different route and not necessarily draft an injured player, because we all know Brad Holmes likes, for all his draft hits, he's hitting a lot of these draft hits, but he does take a lot of risks with injured players, and that's just facts. But they're calculated for the most part. So linebacker, cornerback. How is Garrett Williams? Is at 170? Shoot. I might as, you know what? I think I'm honestly just going to take Garrett Williams, because I'm actually I have a 3rd round grade on him. So to me, that makes sense. I'll take him. All right, let's see. Oh, he did go. DTR went. That's tough. Okay, if they did want a potential backup quarterback, I think this is where they would probably go. Aiden O'Connell. It's tough. To me. Oh no, DTR is there. Oh, okay. He was just hiding on the. Yeah, I'm taking DTR. Give me DTR. He's a 3rd round pick in my opinion. He's basically Tyrod Taylor, but a better passer, and he's got a little bit more upside in my opinion. So, and people sleep on Tyrod Taylor. He was a starter for the NFL for a while. So, yeah, give me DTR. All right, now we're getting into depth, special teams players, just guys that maybe diamond in the roughs, those kind. So let's just see if there's anybody that stands out. Yeah, at this point I'm kind of shooting in the dark, but I'm probably gonna actually end up taking an offensive guard. Let's take Nick Broker from Ole Miss. The Lions need some guard depth, I think, so that'd be a good position to get. All right, and then honestly, to me, you could probably either take another linebacker, safety, some more defenders, because honestly the Lions need as much defense as they can get. Yeah, so honestly, I'll probably go. You know what? Give me Cam Jones from Indiana. And then that should be the last of our picks. So let's take a look at the final product. So if you guys didn't know, we did trade up, and we got Will Anderson Jr. After a heavy debate between picking him or his teammate Bryce Young. The better part of me ended up taking Will Anderson. And then we also paired up with Kalijah Kancey. So that's already making our defensive line one of the best young defensive lines in the league. To add to that, we also got a linebacker, which I really do think a linebacker is still a big need, but I don't see the Lions taking a linebacker early. Again, this isn't their draft. This is mine. So I'm going to take a linebacker early and get Drew Sanders. In the 3rd round, we got Xavier Hutchinson. He's big body kind of receiver. I think he'd kind of be what Marvin Jones is kind of right now, coming in on a 1-year deal. Xavier Hutchinson's kind of be that with more upside because he's younger and you know, coming out of college. But Garrett Williams, a little bit of a shot. He's had some injuries in his past that he's dealt with, but I really like Garrett Williams. I think he's a good corner. Give us some more help on defense. And then DTR, man, DTR, you know, he's a good quarterback. He honestly, to me, he'd be the diamond in the rough prospect in this draft. I feel like he would definitely fill a need. Plus, for everyone that doesn't want to take a quarterback early, taking one in the later rounds, you know, is definitely still an option as well. And then we finish off with Nick Broeker, offensive guard from Ole Miss, and Cam Jones, linebacker from Indiana. So we did have two trades. We traded up and we traded down. So let me know what you guys think about this draft. You know, what would you grade it? Give me a grade down below in the comment section, and let me know who you think the Lions are going to take in the 2023 NFL Draft with their first pick. So with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. You know, again, I'm going to do a couple more mock drafts before the NFL Draft is here. So stay tuned, and you know, hope you guys have a good rest of your night. And as always, go Lions.